Yours is like in development with the
Very good morning and welcome to Keeneland for this very beautiful Saturday morning as we get ready for Toyota Bluegrass Stakes Day. We want to encourage everybody to come over to the paddock side for those of you that are trackside right now here at Keeneland, because we've got a very special guest that has joined us thanks to the connections behind Goodnight Olive and Stewart of Resolute Racing, one of our key sponsors for weekend racing here in the Madison, Grade 1 Madison. Goodnight Olive, a two-time Eclipse Award-winning champion female sprinter, has just arrived here to the paddock. This is a filly that made over $2.1 million, capped off her career with a win in the Breeders' Cup Filly Mare Sprint at Santa Anita just last November, and that was a title defense after winning the Breeders' Cup Filly Mare Sprint here at Keeneland a year prior. So.
Oh my gosh, this is wrong. It's a nice blanket. Yeah. That's even better. I just think son. You ready? Yeah, Diego.
Would y'all like a postcard, a souvenir?
I know. Goodnight Olive? That's pretty cool. That's a great question.
What's that? That's the building.
Recognizing her achievements, her two-time Breeders' Cup Filly Mare Sprint successes, two-time Eclipse champion, and multiple Grade 1 winners. She won the Madison here at Keeneland Racecourse as well. And as I mentioned, Stewart, who owns this mare and is kind enough to share her with us here at Keeneland, one of the most gorgeous settings that we could possibly have, joins me here. And John, first of all, seeing her here back at Keeneland with her blanket, the fact that she's just recently in foal and having the folks come out here and enjoy her, how would you sum this up, just watching her parade around here at Keeneland?
Look, I think this is special. You know, I didn't realize that after I purchased Olive how popular she was, and on social media people were reaching out and just talking about how happy they were that she stayed here in the U.S. And so we were going to race her this year, and we were a little disappointed, you know, that she wasn't able to race. And she was really pretty calm and chill at the farm, and she started getting a little antsy the last couple of weeks. And I'm like, I think she just wants to go racing. And look at her now, like she's here and she wants to go. When we were walking through the paddock, she looked down the tunnel and was like, hey, I know where I'm going, let's go. So I think it's special, you know, for the fans to be able to see her. And it's just good to, you know, get her out here and give everybody an opportunity to you know, celebrate her retirement.
You acquired for $6 million back in November. Obviously, her resume is one of the best that we have seen and potentially we'll ever see when it comes to a filly sprinter. But what was it about Goodnight Olive that took you to that number back in November, where you knew you had to have her as part of your broodmare band that you have created so quickly here in a matter of months?
Well, one of the reasons I got into racing is I grew up here coming to Keeneland and seeing these stars race, and I've been, you know, fortunate enough to be successful in my career. And I thought, you know, as I looked at all of what's going on in the industry, a lot of foreign buyers are coming over and spending really big dollars and buying our mares and taking them away, and we don't get to see them. And I'll be honest, we weren't going there. I was going there to buy Queen Caroline. And then when the bidding got going on Olive, And I found out, the Japanese were on her. I just decided, no, that's not going to happen. And so she's kind of a symbol of what I'm trying to do in the industry, which is keep these good quality mares here in Kentucky where they belong.
How many mares do you currently have in your band?
Oh my goodness. Well, I had one horse in September, and I think we've got like 92 or something now. And so we bought other real good quality horses that have left here. We bought 4 from Europe. We're in the deal with one from South Africa. We went to Australia. We've already got one in Japan coming back. So, we've got a pretty healthy band up and, bring the horses back where they belong.
She's speaking up right now. You can hear Goodnight Olive feeling good down here in the Keeneland paddock. And she's just been covered by a sire. Who did you breed her back to?
We bred her to Not This Time. When we looked at where we thought that she lined up well, she really lines up with Not This Time, and we're super excited about this pregnancy and what that will do for the sport.
Well, there she is, Goodnight Olive, 2-time Eclipse Award winning champion, came through with that second Breeders' Cup win at Santa Anita, capping off that championship season. Obviously, she's the focus right now, Goodnight Olive, as she deserves to be. But as it is Toyota Bluegrass Stakes Day, one of the big contenders, Derby Dornoch, is running. You acquired Dornoch and Mage, last year's Kentucky Derby winner, their mother in Puka at the Keeneland November sale just a few months back here, obviously at Keeneland, and found out, Gabby Gaudette, my colleague who works with me here at Keeneland and on FanDuel TV, that she just dropped her foal here in the last couple of days.
Yeah, no, it could be perfect timing for what's happened. And, we have a horse running against Dornoch. We own a share of Just Touch. And so, inside I'm pulling for Dornoch to win this Derby just because of the history of it. But the perfect timing, she's held onto this foal. She's almost gone 12 months. And she, finally foaled this week in 150-pound plus colt. And just a really good-looking animal, and good credit to our farm team. We've had really good luck with all of our foals this year. But just very, very historic what's going on, and a full brother with both Mage and Dornoch. And before anybody asks, no, that horse is not for sale. We're going to be racing that horse, and we're excited about that prospect.
You mentioned being a part owner of Just the Touch. He's a horse that I've been very, very privileged in getting a lot of information on him, even well before he debuted. One of the individuals who was responsible for acquiring him for the connections, Gary Young, has been a friend of mine, a distinguished bloodstock agent clocker. I've known him since I was a young boy, and he continued to send me videos of him working at fairgrounds, watched him debut. I've seen his workouts here at Keeneland. He looks like he's really coming on at the right time. What is your feeling about Just the Touch as he steps into this situation today against the likes of what he's doing today, going 2 turns for the first time?
Look, I think the Bluegrass is very exciting this year, and it's really good that everybody decided to bring their horses here this close to the Derby. And number one, we want to be in the top 3 so that we get the points so we can be in the Derby. But I think you're right. Just a Touch is a young horse, and he's really excelled and executed well. And we have expectations internally. He's been working out great. He's had great workouts here. Really likes the track and the conditions. And so we're hoping for a real good race. Both of his last outings were sloppy, and so here we're going to see his true speed. And so we're excited. I think he'll be right up in there, and he may surprise some people. I think people are kind of looking past him and talking about Sierra Leone and Dornoch, but Just a Touch is going to put a pretty good show on today.
He's going to get a lot of attention, trust me, in our broadcast, and from some of the folks that I've talked to. He's a horse that a lot of people respect with what he's done in a very short span of time, and that pedigree that he has, being a son of Justify. You said you had, did I catch right, you had 1 horse back in September, is that right? And now it's up to over 90?
I think it's like that. I don't even know how many horses we got. And I drive my accountant crazy and the farm manager crazy because, one of them's got to pay for them, the other, and then Noel, our farm manager's like, you bought what? And we bought the Shadwell farm out in Midway, and it hadn't had horses on it for 4 years. And so we just acquired it in December and just started the farm in January. And they foaled, all but 2 of the horses have been sold on the property, and they've got it up and running. And it's good to see horses on that property back again. And so, I'm proud of the whole team. But no, we've been just trying to stay focused, and we bought a lot of horses people don't even know about in private sales. You know, we just bought Sweet Rebecca, you know, spoke her baby down in Gulfstream, you know, American Pharoah filly, and she's going to Chaz Brown, and we expect good things out of her. But, you know, we have a plan, and, you know, my plan is actually not to let the good fillies and mares make it to auction. I want to acquire them before they even get there, and then all the people that want to buy at auction can buy the rest of them.
Well, I have a feeling you're gonna stick to that plan. I feel like you're a man that certainly sticks to his guns, and we saw it at the sales here. We saw how active you were and determined you were when you were on a horse. What is that process like for you, going to the Keeneland September sale, the Keeneland November sale, and sorting through the best quality bloodstock that we have in all the world, and trying to pinpoint who you want to bring home to that new farm?
Well, you know, Gavin and Chelsea are responsible for all that. And I told them I was going to buy 2 horses in September. And I showed up to the auction, and they had went and reviewed 165 horses to recommend 2. And, you know, Gavin was working with Coolmore at the time. And you got to think about it. I mean, this guy, you know, I told him we'll budget around $1 million. Let's pick 2 horses. It would have been pretty easy just to find 2 horses to spend $1 million. But he went through 160 horses, you know, to kind of, you know, recommend the top 2. And that gave me the confidence, you know, to like go put my foot on the gas a little bit more. And, you know, I don't invest in the public stock market. And so I'm a private equity investor. And so I have a lot of investment tied up in that. And what better to invest in is the community here and the sport, you know, which I love. And so I just decided to, you know, make a big investment in this in a big way. All of the purchases have been very calculated, researched, and Chelsea and Gavin are responsible for, you know, all of that behind the scenes.
You said that you, obviously one of the goals is to keep these top-notch mares here stateside and not let them go overseas as we have seen a number of them do. But as far as beside that, and it sounds like you're quickly going to have one of the best broodmare bands that we have in the sport, what are some of the goals that you immediately have laid out for yourself, for your team, on the racing side of things? Are there immediate goals, long-term goals, trying to breed these mares, trying to get a specific type of runner for specific types of races, or is it a broader scope than just pinpointing 1 or 2 races or Breeders' Cup races, etc.?
You know, of course, I want to win the races. I want to win the Kentucky Derby. I want to have a Triple Crown. Of course you do. Everybody that gets into business wants to do that. But I just feel privileged as a person that was standing on the other side over there as a fan to get to participate in a sport that I really care about and love. And I've had a lot of joy in my life, a lot of family activities around the sport. So the first thing I want to do is I just want to be additive. You know, I want to try to contribute to the sport. I want to, you know, honor what's been done through the legacy, and I want to just, you know, try to be additive to it, and you know, try to promote all of the good things that are going on in the sport. And you know, one way to do that is just take action. And so that's just how I'm going to do things. I'm not a complainer. I'm not going to complain about things. If I think there's something that's not going right, I'm going to take action. I'm going to do something about it. And just like I felt like, you know, these mares leaving, I just have to take a stand. And you know what? The bidding could have went to $10 million and she was going home with me. Like it's, you know, at that point, and people that know me know when I get resolved on something, like it's a principle thing to me. It's not, you know, if I would have overpaid, people said I overpaid for her, that's okay. She's the symbol that she stands for and the message that sends to everybody, you know, that we're serious about keeping these Kentucky's horses here, and that someone, you know, has joined a group of people already trying to do that. That's what my goal is, to just contribute and be a positive part. For us to be good sportsmen, we're only dealing with the best people in the business. And, you know, I'm not going to complain about other people who I don't think are doing good. I'm just not going to do business with those people. I'm going to do business with people that have a good reputation, and that's what we want. We have a good reputation, be good sportsmen, contribute, and everybody one day say, hey, we're just glad, you know, he was in the game, and what he did contributed, most specifically, Kentucky thoroughbred industry.
I think I know the answer to this, but how'd you come up with your stable name?
Well, because everybody said that you seem very resolved when you make a bid, and so, you know, I thought, well, okay, we'll do something around that. And Resolute's a good, proud, you know, name, and I think it's you know, it's something that describes the whole community of Kentucky. You know, we're very resolute. We might have our differences over things. You might be a Louisville fan or a Kentucky fan, But at the end of the day, you're from Kentucky, and you take a lot of pride in that. And being in an industry, private equity, which is not familiar with a lot of people here, and then, places like New York and Chicago and Los Angeles, it's more prevalent. And, I don't think those people have as much respect for, the talent and the determination of people here and how gritty people here are in the way of life that we have. And so I think it kind of represents all those things. Great expectations for him. He's going to be a stallion. He's going to be a top performer. We're excited about that. Coolmore has been a really good partner. They sold some quality mares on the farm. Really good bloodlines. We have a full sister known agenda. On the farm, we got just some fantastic horses that they've been able to help us.
Just a reminder, for those that maybe haven't had an opportunity to come down here, this is Goodnight Olive parading down here in the Keeneland paddock with her blanket on, recognizing her accomplishments, including being a two-time Eclipse Award-winning champion female sprinter, two-time Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Sprint winner of the Madison, won the Bed of Roses, and one of the most accomplished horses that we have seen in modern-day thoroughbred racing. And John Stewart, kind enough to share her with us this morning.
All that stuff. And Sheikh Fahad was a partner in Just a Touch. Tipco is the big sponsor of that event. And so again, I was a fan. I was on the other side just a couple of years ago, like everybody else. And now getting kind of behind the ropes and getting to see some of these things is just special. Every day, the first day is a good day. So I'm absolutely going to be active over there. And again, the same kind of goals. But primarily we're focused on North America. And to be honest with you, primarily focused on Kentucky. Primarily focused on doing things that improve the industry here in Kentucky. I'm not worried about what happens in California. I'm not worried about what happens everywhere else. Am I going to have horses around there? Sure. But where I'm going to be, the majority of my investments will be right here in Kentucky.
What part of Kentucky do you originate from?
So I'm down from an area called Russell County. People know that, a little small town like Cumberland. And so I moved up here when I got the job working for Toyota. And so a lot of people don't know I started my job as an hourly worker on the night shift there. But we're trying to build our brand. We're new in the business. And so we're just trying to do things to promote our brand and build it. And I feel like I got a lot of catching up to do because I want to compete at a level that, it takes years to kind of get to. And so that's why there's kind of like a sense of urgency to do that. And so, we're sponsoring the Jaipur, which Parabel, who we also own, and she just got bred to Frankel a couple days ago. So super excited about that. But we're sponsoring that event up at Belmont at Saratoga. And so I called Shannon, texted her, I said, hey, I just sponsored this race. I feel like I got to do something here at Keeneland because this is my favorite racetrack and I've got to visit a lot. And, this is just the start of some good things I want to do in collaboration with Keeneland. Ultimately, I want to see the richest filly and mare race in the world right here in Lexington at Keeneland. That's what I want to see. And so that's a short-term goal that I have. I'd love to see it this year. Don't know if we'll get it done, but I definitely want to see it on the calendar next year that we have a race with $15 million plus prize pool that is where everybody wants to have their international best fillies and mares right here in Lexington.
We can lay it out there on the dirt or the turf. Obviously long, would that be the idea? What would you see for $15 million? What kind of race are we talking about?
I've been talking to some of the other farms because again, I'm kind of new to the industry. I'm the guy that went to Turfway and didn't know they didn't have turf, right? So my first horse went to run at Turfway. And you would think it's called Turfway, it's not turf. I didn't know they didn't have turf, so now I know that. But you can't produce the bloodstock without the mares. And it may be great to own a stallion, but they really struggle at the beginning to get the quality mares into their book. And if you got quality mares, you can always get into the stallions, right? And so, that's a little bit behind the scenes, but I want to do that, promote that. And so out at our property, we've hired an architect. We're going to be building a big stallion-like facility that you see at some of the big farms, but it's going to be for the mares. And so, I don't know that anything exists like that today. And so it's just a way to differentiate ourselves and be different and again, be added to the sport. And so I want to partner with Keeneland. That's what, I think this is the most beautiful track, that I've visited, and I've visited a lot of them, but it's just so special and unique. And so a partnership with them to bring that race here to Lexington, I think would be fantastic and really start to solidify our place where people, and so we're just a steward of it.
It's the best way of putting it. They are yours, but you share them with not just those that had her before, but also any person that has been impacted by that particular horse. And I always say, really, it would be impossible to quantify how many people a singular horse touches along the way. That is just one of the many beauties of this sport, because being there when a horse is born, coming up with that breeding, for example, coming up with the team and game planning with Goodnight Olive and who she's going to be bred to.
She finally gets to eat a little breakfast. Good morning. How are you all?
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's in the back there on the driver's side.